decision, you'll have all of that information. So again, in a nutshell, if you decide to move forward with and approve this resolution, you're approving that the notice be published in the newspaper and also posted in the city's website. All that's required by law in order to be able to issue certificates of obligation, which you will consider September the 24th of this year. Are there any questions?
Council, okay, we've got a motion and a second. Hearing no other questions, I'll call for a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes unanimously. Thank you very much.
Thank
Very
you.
clear. All right, moving on to item 7C, consider an approval of the resolution by the City Council of the City of Pearsall, Texas, establishing the city's intent to reimburse itself for the prior lawful expenditure of funds from the proceeds of obligations to be issued on behalf of the city for authorized purposes and other matters in connection therewith. Is this an action item?
Motion.
Call for a motion. I have a motion by Councilman Leal, a second by Councilwoman Trevino. Mr. Aguilera, you got the floor.
Thank you very much, Mayor. Again, what the city has done in the past, this is a federal tax law requirement, whereas the resolution before was state law requirement. But now the federal tax laws require that an entity that issues obligations, you can reimburse yourself with funds that you will get at a later time for expenditures that are being made now. So if something comes up and TxDOT says, no, you need to move forward and do this, whatever it is you need to do, and so you start using funds from the city, as long as it's projects related to the certificates of obligation, which is water and sewer improvements, then you can go ahead and start with those expenditures. And then once the city receives, and when we get to that step and you decide to move forward with the certificates of obligation, those funds can be utilized to reimburse the city for whatever expenditures you had at that time prior to that. This, again, like the previous resolution that you approved, does not obligate you to do anything, but you're following what the federal tax laws require, and that is you're setting you're making a formal declaration. That's what, if you look at the tax code, that's what it says. You're making a formal declaration of your intention to reimburse yourself in the future, if you so decide to do that. So by adopting this resolution, then you're making a formal declaration that you may reimburse yourself. Again, you're not obligating yourself at all to issue or to do anything with certificates of obligation or incur any debt in the future. We're just saying we may issue bond or certificates of obligation in the future, and if we do, we may have some expenditures and we'll want to reimburse ourselves. You'll make those decisions to reimburse. I know that Mr. Reyes will bring it over to the council, and at that time it says, I need to make these expenditures, but we got that reimbursement resolution in place to reimburse ourselves in the future.
This is a good thing to have, council. You all see that. Any other questions for our council? Okay, with that, call for vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes unanimously. All right, looking at your agenda, council, we're going to go ahead with items D, G, H, and J. And those are just housekeeping, and we'll come back after we review the budget and vote on E, F, and I. So with that, just okay. Bear with me, council. Just a moment. All right, council, we're moving on to item 7D. Discuss and consider acceptance of the 2004 certified tax rolls for the city of Pearsall. This is an action item. I'll call for a motion in a second. Motion by Councilwoman Agarza, second by Councilwoman Hernandez. City Manager, you have the floor.
Mayor and Council, this is, by statute, we're required to bring this to council for approval. So what you have in your packet are the certified tax rolls for the city. Believe that, as our financial advisor mentioned, our values are at $387 million. That's about a $27 million increase from last year, which is good news for the taxing entities. So we're asking for the approval of the roll, and you can, if you want more details on the tax roll, you're welcome to look at it, and if you have any questions, I'll answer them.
This is pretty cut and dried, acceptance of what's been presented to us. So with that, we've got a motion to second. Council, is there any other questions? Hearing none, I'm gonna call for a vote. All in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. All right, council, if you'll skip down to 7G, discuss and consider approval of task order 3 with YPR Engineering and Design for traffic control improvements at the intersection of Louise and Lindsay Lane. This is an action item.
Motion.
Got a motion by R. Garza, I've got a second by A. Garza. City Manager, you have the floor.
Mayor and Council, as you all know, the council approved a plat some months back for a development. Actually, the gentleman is here, thankfully. Mr. Patel is working on development right there off of Lindsay Lane and Louise Lane. We hope to break ground here soon. But we would like to have permission to move forward with design and ultimately construction of traffic control devices there on, we are gonna use an engineering firm for this, so YPR is gonna help us out. We are gonna need some help primarily with your stop, placement of stop and yield signs, and then also, we're also gonna present some other measures traffic control wise to help with that. So we do need to get moving on that, and hopefully it'll be a good thing for all the development in that area.
As council, as you recall, our utility director talked about the dangers at that intersection. I think we're familiar with that. So with that, we have a motion and a second. Is there any other questions?
The other thing I really wanna mention to y'all, this is all being paid out of the TERS fund, and so I just wanna make sure that's also.
That makes it even better. Any other questions? Hearing none, motion second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you very much. Moving on to 7H. Discuss and consider the approval of an emergency prepared for East Canal Water Plant and authorize the city manager to negotiate an interim agreement with Solinsky Welding and Pump Inc. This is an action item. I got a motion by Councilman Leal, second by Councilwoman R. Garza. City manager, you have the floor.
Mayor, council, as y'all can see, this is an expense of about $68,000 for repairs out at the East Plant. All our wells thankfully have been running this year, with the exception, this broke down a few weeks back. We've thought about other options, but I think for being that we're fixing to jump into August and probably still have September to go with heat, we're asking to make this repair. We believe we can take it out of our operating budget. But that's what we're asking for is permission to move forward with the repair of this.
That's the plant down yonder?
East Plant, right?
East.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah, that's west, east,
Yes.
one over here.
The East Plant, so we have the East, and they've all, quite frankly, have done, knock on wood, they've done pretty well this summer. We haven't had, of course, we had a mild summer, but
Cherry's the one we just did, right?
yes, sir, Cherry Plant.
Yeah.
How about the one down there at Ravinia?
Colorado, and then we've done some work there, and then we've also done some work at the, North Plant.
The Ravinia plant over there, what's that plant called? Oh,
This
there's
Colorado is the one on the far side, and then
Colorado.
Cherry is the one right in the center of town.
Yes.
Colorado, we did the tank, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
all of them, tanks.
But what, have we done any well work on that one?
We did some, yes, sir, we did some, wasn't that, the expense wasn't that, I can't recall, but we have done some work, yes.
We've done a lot of rehab on the Cherry
Cherry,
plant.
yeah, I remember Cherry
Cherry
being,
has been really troublesome, well, knock on wood, it's been good the past few months, we're hoping it continues. What we don't wanna do is as best we can, and part of what's been happening is when more than one well goes out, when you have two or more go out, we start stressing.
which one's the workhorse?
The north and the Colorado. The one by the school.
Oh, here.
Is our bigger, that's one of our bigger plants, and the Colorado over there by the, yes, sir, behind Westwood.
Yeah,
Those are our bigger well, and they produce the most water for us.
which one's the deepest well?
That, I wanna say it's Colorado, I wanna say it's 1,000, over 1,000, 1,200 feet. I'm not sure, but I can get that information.
Alright.
Yes, sir.
All right, council, you've got, the information in front of you, you've got a motion and second. I don't hear any other questions, so I'm gonna call for a vote. All in favor of item 7H, please say aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes unanimously. Next, going on to item 7J, discuss and consider a chapter 3 economic development agreement between the city of Pearsall and PTX Retail LLC. This is an action item. A motion and a second. Motion by Councilman James Leal and second by Councilwoman R. Garza. City Manager, you have the floor.
Mayor and council, we've discussed this item in executive session, and I'm glad that Mr. Patel is here, and he's thankful for the agreement. We'd like to get your approval to move forward, and it is a sales tax reimbursement that we've agreed to over a 10-year period, and there's also waivers of building permits and tap fees as part of the incentive.
And this is all per what was discussed in executive session?
Yes, sir.
Bobby's been able to review.
I think
Yes,
this is what you
it looks good.
Awesome. Thank you.
Council, do you have any other questions? All right, with that, I'm gonna call for a motion. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
None.
Hearing none, motion passes unanimously. All right, council, now we're gonna go back to item 6 and go over the budget workshop. Item 6A, general utility funds and other budget-related items. These are not action items, but we'll turn the floor over to the city manager and or his designate.
I don't remember where we ended off.
Parks.
Yes, I knew it was parks. No, I didn't know. We're having this over for parks, and so this is still part of the budget workshop that.
So we're gonna be in, what do you want us to look at?
This is gonna be the presentation, the,
Page 41.
page 41.
Page 41?
Yes, sir.
All right, council, if you'll go to page 41, Parks Director, Mr. Ricardo, you've got the floor.
You know what happened to my binder over here? May I have it back?
Good evening, Mayor, Council.
Thank you.
This will be my 30th time to come up here for budget, just FYI.
All right. Thank you, ma'am, we're grateful for your service to the city, and,
I love it.
uh,
Okay, so let's go through the Parks budget. It's very self-explanatory right there. Under the supplies, we got a total of $63,350. Mind if you have any questions while we're going on, please ask. Under the services, we went ahead and budgeted for $119,950. Do you want a breakdown on what each line item is going to have, or?
I'm just going, if you have a question.
Okay. For the maintenance, under the Parks Department, we have a total of $47,500, which gives me, with the capital outlay, which I'm asking for a groomer for our infields. We don't have anything that we've worked on the infields for the past almost 30 years now, and they're all been handmade. So we're looking for a pro groomer to do our infields, another gator, and a Z-Track mower. Mind you, we got 3 of them, 3 gators, and the oldest one is, and it's still running, it's a 1999 model. So we got 4 mowers, 1 is down, it's gonna need a new engine, so that's the reason why this one is going to take place of that old one. And a scissor lift. Mind you, we always have problems during the holidays and during the year for lifts and all that, so I put one in there for us to see if we can purchase one. So total capital budget is $50,413, which brings me back down to my total budget for the Parks Department would be $281,213. Any questions?
Ram, how do you water those fields?
By hand, with the sprinklers.
Have you ever considered maybe a system?
Yes, that was, I thought of that system 30 years ago and it never went. So right now, it's a matter of money just to do the.
Is there any grants out there that can,
We'll be looking at one, I think part of what we're debating is there potentially could be some grants. There's one that we were approached on, I'll talk to you about a little bit through the EPA. That's grant, and there's also some potential funding through the Water Development Board. But it's, part of what we discussed was the reclaimed water. I don't know that we would do reclaimed water there, I'm not suggesting that. But there is some opportunities to consider.
I think we might be able to, because they use reclaimed water for golf courses.
Yeah, you can, I guess what I'm saying is that in existing fields is what I'm getting at, is putting in, because they have no irrigation, correct me if I'm wrong, as far as on the, you have no irrigation.
On the football field?
Yeah.
No, none whatsoever.
So part of what we'll look at is we are gonna be looking at that, yes, sir, to answer your question. Funding.
Go ahead, Rick.
Under the parks, of course, we've got the facility maintenance. Under supplies, for total of janitorial supplies, we got for all the facilities, be a 19,500. Under services, other professional services, which means HVAC repairs, fire extinguishers, panic buttons, pressure wash, removal of carpet and electrical service, we're looking at 55,500. Under maintenance, with the building maintenance, we have the repairs to building, flags, air filters, window tint, restrooms, partitions. We're looking at a total of 59,650 for, that'll be the total for for building maintenance, which a total of 134,650. For the capital improvements, we're looking at to replace two units, one for the PD and one for the library. So that'd be a total of 63,600 for a total facility maintenance budget of 198,250. For the right-of-way crew, under supplies, we got a total supplies of $15,370. That would be for gas, trimmer lines, blades, pole saws, and all kinds of stuff that they're gonna need. Under maintenance, we have the auto repairs of the vehicles and repairs of maintenance of the mowers and trimmers and all kinds of stuff that they got. We're looking at 2,000 there. For a total of budget for the supplies would be $17,370. On our capital outlay, we're looking to replace or to add a new mower. They go through a lot of miles, that right-of-way crew, a lot of miles. So, mind you, they got one, it's a 2021 and a 2022, and they look really beat. So they've gone through a lot of miles. So we're looking at adding a new mower, which would be 16,119, and a new brush mower to working on the empty lots when they're cleaning out the lots for 4,600, which brings the capital outlay to 20,719.
Ram, do we have a mower that lifts the vertical?
Yes, sir.
We do have.
The street department does, yes, sir. So the total budget for the right-of-way crew would be $38,089.
Ram,
Nande.
what size is that mower, the Z 950? Is it a 60 or 72 or?
It's a 60.
Have you looked into the X marks or the Skags?
X marks, yes, but the thing is that it's time consuming on sending these tractors for repairs or anything, that we have to send them all the way. Mind you, we got and that's the problem that I'm leading to right now. I got an X mark and I got a Grasshopper, and they were purchased in San Antonio. So the trouble is taking them to San Antonio to get them repaired, to get looked at. It's time consuming, and it's costly. So I'd rather keep it home with a John Deere, and it'd be a lot quicker.
Yeah, because I know that the decks are heavier duty
Yes,
on the
exactly.
Skags or the,
Yes.
compared to the John Deere's.
Yes. And like I said,
But time consuming, I
the
guess
X
it is.
Mark, and that Grasshopper, their decks are really beaten up,
Yeah.
real beat up. So do we go through the hotel motel tax?
You're welcome to, I'll probably share with some of you. Go ahead.
Okay, this will be just for the Civic Center. Under the supplies, we've got janitorial supplies and cleaning supplies, we got a total of $3,920. Under services, we have other professional services, HVAC, electrical, fire extinguisher, and other services, $2,480. Under the maintenance account, we have building maintenance, repairs, flags, pesticide, air filters, landscape, roof repairs. We're looking at a total of $14,150. Under grounds, we're looking at $3,000 for additional